Hello, and welcome to Carline at Pines. I'm your host, Patty Sobelman. If you are returning to Pines and you've been here for a long time, this is an awesome refresher. If you are transitioning from one community to another, you were an infant, now you're a toddler, toddler primary, primary lower, any of those, this is a good reminder of how everything that you know to be true has just shifted over to maybe a different parking lot. And if you are brand new, well, then buckle up because this looks like a lot, but I promise it's not. The subtitle of almost everything we do at Pines is We've Got This. So this year, we're going to put all of the videos in one and we'll try to make it as efficient as possible. Some things that we need to know and keep in mind as we go along. This whole presentation is not to scale. I made it myself, so just deal with how simple it looks. But that's what that means. And this only works, 100% only works when we all work together. Okay. This takes absolutely every single person. And this is what I mean. Tell everyone. You might watch this video. You need to let your spouse watch this video as well. It's not a bad idea for children to watch the video. Grandparents, babysitters, absolutely everyone, because it just takes one person to go rogue and everything starts to collapse. Okay, so make sure everybody sees it. Very, very important. Only honk for danger. Okay. If a child is darting out, if somebody's going the wrong way, but if you're just irritated that the car in front of you hasn't moved up, there are teachers who will be wearing safety vests who will invite people to pay attention. Okay. But the more people honk, the more people disregard the honk, and we need honks only for danger. Okay. No cell phones. And by cell phones, I also mean just any other distractions. When you are on our property and you are in a vehicle, especially at arrival and dismissal, we need your 100% attention on everything that's going on around you. Okay. Non negotiable. You represent Pines when you're here. So my phone will ring. Those parents at Pines, they didn't do. You represent us. So if you're driving with grace and courtesy and we're all acting as if we're all making the best decisions we all can make at the given time that we're doing something, then this will be brilliant. And they'll be like, wow, there's a lot of kids that go to Pines and their car line is amazing and efficient. And I can't believe it. Or those parents at Pines honk at everything. Like this, let's represent Pines. Okay. And take your time. No child has ever slept over at Pines. The car line really only lasts probably between 12 and 15 minutes. It goes by fast if we all just take our time. When people start jockeying in front of people and trying to wiggle around, that's when things get mucked up. Okay, so take your time and be safe. And we're going to talk about lots of things that lots of people have done in Carline that might seem fun or advantageous, but they're not safe. And we appreciate the fact that you might believe that our property is safe, but lots of things can happen at Pines just like every place else. All right, here we go. Lastly, this really does work. We're going to talk about toddlers and primary together. We're going to talk about lower and upper together. We'll talk about infants alone, middle school alone, what we do with siblings, because we have different dismissal times, and then some early and late and last wrap up things. So buckle up. Here we go. Toddlers and primary. See, you can tell I made it myself. So here is an overall look at our property. When we talk about infants and toddlers, we're just talking about the main parking lot. And so you're going to see a little car there kind of move. See the little moving? Yay. So cars are just going to come in. This is for dismissal. For arrival, this is your same thing, but it's not nearly as dramatic as dismissal. So here we go for dismissal. Right around here, if you see that silver car and that red car, just be mindful that there's a bike path that crosses right there from the green belt. And we do have lots of families that ride bikes, so just be mindful of that. Look both ways. All right, you're going to make your way around. And then as you come around, you're going to start angling in. It is right past the handicap parking spots. And then what's going to happen is teachers are going to come down those stairs. They're going to be wearing safety vests. You'll see them, and they're going to service the first two cars. You hear me? The first two cars, which means that third car, stay put. The other thing that's really critical, no student should ever be unbuckled prior to becoming one of the first two cars, and let the teachers unbuckle them. We see very often that you've unbuckled your child or you've permitted them to do it themselves and they're bouncing around your vehicle. And it takes one person to slip off of the brake and hit the gas to hit you, and your child goes flying. Also, never, never, never let your child reach up through the skylight. And we see a lot of that. Kids that are waving and just being goofy. I know it looks like fun, but this is not safe. Okay. Teachers are going to serve those first two cars. We unbuckle. There's no reason for you to get out of your car. Just be ready. Okay. All their items are together. If they have a lunch kit, nap things, have that ready. But for you to get out, then slows it down. That's what we're here for. If you really want to get out of your car, just park. Park and walk your child up to the classroom. That's fine any given day. Okay. All right. So now they're going to start moving through. Watch out for that bicycle. That person who arrived might be leaving. Now they're going to be watching out for you as well, but just know that. And then also note, we're going to do a change the screen here in just a second, is how to exit. You see that little school bus that entered in over there? You might be aware, our school is right in the middle of three other school zones, Kingwood High School, Kingwood Middle, and Bear Branch. And so school buses are using Cedar Knolls just like we are. So here's how to exit. All right, bird's eye view, made this myself. All right, you're exiting, you're that blue car. This is what else is going on Cedar Knolls. Somebody else is entering to also pick up their child, and a school bus is coming, and a 16-year-old just got his license and he's tearing around the corner from Kingwood High School. And other cars are arriving, getting ready. See their turn signal? That's the turn signal. They're waiting to go left into the elementary car line. So there's a lot going on, but you're that blue car and you have your child and you're ready to go home. I implore you to go right. Put your right turn signal on and go right. The only time that we say you could take a left, okay, I'm going to put a ban sign on it, but the only time you can go left is if you, honest to goodness, have a clear shot. If you find yourself waiting and waiting, waiting for the bus, waiting for the red car to go, you have backed all of Carline up because you want to take a left. Take a right, make a block, and get to where you're going. Okay? That's just the way it is. So try to take a right as much as possible. All right. Now we're in lower and upper. We're going to do lower first, then we'll do upper, and then we'll do them together. So here you go. Lower elementary. We are in the front driveway. Here's how we do front driveway. The car pulls through. This car is going to be a lower elementary car. They're going to pull all the way up to a cone that will say lower, and that's where you sit. The next car comes in and they're going to do the same thing, and they're going to go behind you. But now that only really holds, I think, maybe like three cars in reality. Another car is going to come, but there's not going to be space behind them because upper elementary has the space behind them. We'll see that in a minute. So this car can be up against the fire lane curb where the wildflowers usually are right now. They're not as active, but right there at the curb. All right. Red car pulls away, blue car starts to pull away. You will see in the middle of Carline somebody, generally Mr. David, wearing this goofy hat we bought. They're standing there because they're going to let you know that you are now safe to cross over and now be behind that blue car. So right up against the wildflowers are where you kind of idle and wait to move over. Okay, does that make sense? I hope so. Then another car will come in and then everybody will move over. All right, there we go. Upper L, just upper L. We're still out in the car park, right? Then what's going to happen is we're going to take down the yellow chain that's in there. Under no circumstances do you ever enter through that. If the chain is down, it is only for exits. All right, here we go. Car comes in. You're going to pull up right by the cone for upper elementary. When you're done, Mr. David will make sure that you can exit through the center. Okay, so you're going to go through the center, and then other cars will come and follow you. Now we're going to put it all together. It really does work. Here we go. Car comes in. They're picking up an upper elementary child. They're going to wait for just a second. Another car is going to enter as well, but they're for lower, so they're going to make their way over to the lower cone. Another car comes in. They're upper. Another for lower. Here comes another lower, and they're going to wait in the middle. Then we pick up kids. Upper's going to pull out. Upper people move up. Lower leaves. Lower crosses over. I told you, it really does work. Other things to consider. If you have an upper elementary student and a lower elementary student all in the front, we're just going to tell you where to park, and then we'll bring your children to there. We'll let you know which one is yours, but we'll have both your children together. We'll talk about younger siblings in a moment. Okay, so all that works, but now it's time for you to exit. So now we've kind of moved our view over just a little bit. So now you're exiting. That yellow arrow is exiting from the circle drive there. And you're at the intersection that has the two stop signs kind of between middle school and our building. Here's the biggest thing. Don't block the box. That part in the center is sacred. We have family that live on the street next to us. They need to have free access to leave. You're just not going to put your car there. All right. You are waiting to arrive to Pines, and there's still no room for you yet. So you are going to make a lane in the middle of the street. In reality, this street, Cedar Knolls, holds two lanes going, what was that? East and two lanes going west. It does it. Okay. It's not ideally designed that way, but it will do it. So if three cars are waiting and they all have their turn signals on to go to us, a bus can come to a stop and pass by. That 16-year-old is going to be able to pass by. Our neighbors can pass by, but you have to create that waiting lane. The way you indicate that you're waiting is you're all going to have your turn signals on, and that will tell everybody you're sitting at the stop sign and not moving, and they should take that outer band. Okay. Then other cars have made it through the box, but they're waiting to enter in. They also will have their turn signals on. So when that silver and blue car move forward, the pink car can go, and that's how that works. But now you're trying to exit, which is how we started this to begin with. You're this red car. You are going to take a right. If you were to take a left, what's going to happen is other cars are still coming and you can't get across the street, okay, to get to the lane that you need to, unless there's absolutely a clear shot. And it happens, but if you're sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting, you're backing everything up. So thank you and please and thank you. The other thing is there is a stop sign pretty much right there. So make sure that you always come to full stops. We are in a school zone, so no cell phones and 20 miles an hour, please, because it's embarrassing, but every year parents get pulled over in our school zone, and they pull you right into our parking lot, and there's no way to protect your identity. There's no privacy in that. They really enjoy that. Sorry. Okay, you have an infant. Now we're panning over to where middle school is. You have choices as a parent of an infant, but what we've done in the middle school parking lot is we've created some spaces at the very front that is just for you. It is for no one else. Okay, so if you're a middle school family, these are not for you either. We'll get to middle school in a second. Please do not pull all the way to the back. All of those spots are reserved for faculty members, so it's just the front spots. When we give you these spots, because it takes time for an infant to get all of their paraphernalia together, and so this gives you a space that has kind of long-term parking. You're going to take your child and you're going to walk through the little forest there by the kitchen, down around the kitchen, in front of the school, and then up through the peace gate. And that's where the infant class is. If you arrive prior to Carline, which is before 8, or after Carline, which is more like 8:20, 8:25, you're most welcome to use the front driveway, or you are always welcome to park your car in the actual parking lot and walk your infant to class. Okay? So that's infants. The reverse of that is true arrival and dismissal. I did put more chains up in front of middle school. At some point in the morning after Carline, middle school will put up chains. That means that you can no longer drive there. They also use that parking lot for outdoor work, and so they need their parking lot to not have any active cars in it. So if that chain is up, then no, you need to use the front drive or the big parking lot. Okay, middle school only. So you're going to have some infant families using the very front parking spots. We're going to have the faculty using the back parking lot. And so when you arrive, we invite you to pull in. If you're waiting for your student, you can back into an empty space. And then when you leave, that gives you the ability to scoot out the correct way. Or if you are dropping off in the morning, you could use morning car line. Morning car line is very fluid. Everybody just gets dropped off as they arrive, and teachers are out there. When you're exiting from middle school, very same thing. Do not block the box. All the same shenanigans are happening. You're leaving. Please take a right. Only take a left if you absolutely have a shot to take a left. Okay? So that's all of that. Siblings. You are in elementary, which dismisses at 3:15, but you have a primary or toddler student. It is our pleasure to bring them to the front of the building, and that's where they'll sit. And then when we see your car approach, we will reunite your infant, or not your infant, sorry, your toddler, your primary student, and your elementary student, and put them in the cars for you. Okay, so all of that is taken care of. Arrival, like I said, is pretty much like dismissal, but just gentler. You're just going to pull in, kiss, and go. Please be prepared for it. If your child balks, they're having a rough day, then please pull around and park or try Carline one more time. But if there's a moment where you're unable to execute and get your child out kind of swiftly, then please park, take your time, and come in when you can. Okay. Um, Arriving early, please remember that our gates open at 8 o'clock in the morning, and unless there are teachers outside, then you are not to allow your child to exit the vehicle. This is specifically important for elementary. Our kids seem very capable of doing things by themselves, but if we are not there, we don't know you're there. And again, the campus is not safe for that. You cannot just leave your child on the sidewalk waiting for us to come out. So that's really important. If you arrive late after all of Carline happens, also do not encourage your child to come to the office by themselves. You must park your car safely, come to the office, and then get a late pass to go to class. But if you do it well, you won't be late. Okay. Being late is really incredibly disruptive, not only to your child, but to the classroom and to the office. And so we understand from time to time it happens, but please adjust your schedule to arrive on time. Your students are missing a lot when they're late. All right. Take your time and be safe. Really make safe decisions. If you want to hear all the stories of things that have happened in the parking lot, things such as a car was stolen in the parking lot. A family kept their keys in the ignition and just left to come in just for a moment. And when they came back, some opportunistic person jumped in their car and took off. Another family left their window down and left their laptop on their seat. Person rode by in a bicycle and nicked the laptop quite quickly. We've had a car hit a person gently, thank goodness, but still very scary incident. We've had cars hit each other because people just aren't looking. Please, please be safe. The other thing is do not ever leave anybody alive in a car. What I mean by anybody alive, obviously, are animals and people. Do not crack windows and leave engines running with people in the car. Time to time, we are hustling out to discover that a child was left alone with the engine running, so the air conditioning was on. Don't. We even had an engine running and a dog in the car, and the dog jumped over the seat, hit the gear shift, and the car rolled in neutral, and we were chasing a truck with a dog driving in it. Cannot make this stuff up. Please, please, please make safe decisions. If we all just take our time and be safe. Thank you so much. We're going to have a great year. See you later. Bye.